Hello everybody, Official New York Rail Fan here, and welcome back to another video. Today we are taking a look at my birthday weekend trip to the Big Apple, otherwise known as New York City. I went down to New York City with my mom, and it was a very good trip, I would say. I decided to go down to New York City because I wanted to ride the Amtrak Acela for one time before they decide to retire them. So yeah. In this first clip, we are taking a look at Poughkeepsie Yard, where I heard that Metro North 211, their New York Central Heritage unit, was sitting. Unfortunately, it was blocked by a regular P-32, but if you pause the video for just a second, I will also put up a picture, you can see the nose of the unit. I would come back here later on Sunday, and thank God it was still here, and I would get some better pictures of it. As I was arriving into the station, I also heard a Metro North train just pulled in with Metro North 230, one of their original New Haven P-32 units. Now I know that wasn't the best video, but hey, you can't really do anything about it when you saw it last minute. Anyways, this next clip is me on Amtrak 63, passing by the Metro North Croton Harmon Yard, filled with old M3s and modern M7 units. I didn't get a video, but I also saw the Christmas train cab car sitting way back in the yard. After getting into New York Penn Station on Amtrak 63, we went for a walk around the big city and visited many locations like Times Square and Rockefeller, where they had their giant Christmas tree every year. After watching Five Nights at Freddy's 2 at a cinema, we went back to New York Penn to catch the 5:10 a.m. New Jersey Transit train to Princeton Junction to try and railfan for the morning before riding the Acela to Boston. However, after finding out they had a 2-hour station limit and no outlets to charge anything, we went back to New York Penn and decided to catch Amtrak Northeast Regional 160 to New Rochelle to try and beat Metro North's Christmas train. While at Princeton Junction, however, we managed to catch Amtrak 89, the southbound Palmetto service going to Savannah, Georgia, with a solo ACS 64 on the point. While riding the NJT train back, we found some old Amtrak Turboliner trains sitting out of service since the early 2000s. While also riding the NJT, we went by Harrison Yard with a bunch of path services and 2 NJT sets. After getting on Amtrak 160, we took about a 35-minute ride to New Rochelle, and the first train we caught at New Rochelle was the Metro North Christmas train. Almost immediately after the Christmas train left, we saw a express train heading to Grand Central with a bunch of M8s on it. This is a New Haven line, so expect a bunch of M8s on the Metro North. Apparently, Metro North loves to skip New Rochelle because here's yet another express train heading to Grand Central. Never turn your back to anything on the Metro North here at New Rochelle, as yet another express train appears out of nowhere, this time heading to Stamford. Here's the 10:34 train to Grand Central, stopping at New Rochelle.
Next to arrive on track 3 is the 10:34 a.m. train to Grand Central Terminal, making stops at Pelham, Mount Vernon East, Fordham, Harlem, 125th Street, and Grand Central Terminal.
Here's what I believe is Amtrak 195 and Amtrak 162 meeting at New Rochelle, something that is usually not supposed to happen, but due to maintenance along the Northeast Corridor and delays for both trains, they both met here. I wasn't sure why Amtrak 195 was calling out of the station, but I soon found out why, as another Metro North train appeared from behind Amtrak 195. It's time to play the game of will it be an express train or will it be a stopping train? If you guessed express, you are correct. Yet another Metro North Express train heading to Grand Central rolls by New Rochelle. Probably less than 5 minutes later, here comes yet another express train heading to Grand Central. Finally, something that is not Metro North that skips New Rochelle. Instead, it is one of Amtrak's brand new Avalia trains that have just entered service this summer. The next train would be the Metro North 1103 train to Grand Central. After the 1103 train, we would see the 1111 train pulling into New Rochelle. while the 11:11 train was still boarding and a person making themselves get off the train last second, another express train coming from Stamford roars by, heading to Grand Central. And shortly after that, yet another express train heading to Grand Central comes by. While our train back to New York got closer, we went to the other side of the station about 15 to 20 minutes before it arrived. While on the other side, we caught a few trains. The first train to arrive was the 11:34 a.m. train to Grand Central.
Fordham, Harlem, 125th Street, and Grand Central Terminal.
Right here. As the 11:34 train departed, another Amtrak Avalia train came around the corner, coming from New York heading to Boston. It's going this way. This way. After the Avalia went by, the next train to appear was the 11:40 a.m. train to Stamford.
Next to arrive on track 4 is the 11:40 a.m. train to Stamford, making stops at Larchmont, Mamaroneck, Harrison, Rye, Portchester, Greenwich, Coscob, Riverside, Old Greenwich, and Stamford.
The next train to pass by New Rochelle would be Amtrak 54, the northbound Vermonter, heading to St. Albans, Vermont, with a solo ACS 64 on the point. After 54 went by, another express train heading to Grand Central went by New Rochelle. The last train to pass before our train got to the station was another express train heading to Grand Central. The train we would take back to New York was Amtrak Northeast Regional 147. As it was pulling into the station, it met with an express train heading to Stamford.
Attention customers. Alcohol is not permitted on board New Haven Line trains or in stations until 12 p.m. Sunday, December 15th to maintain orderly travel during today's SantaCon event in Fairfield. Thank you for your cooperation.
Here's a look at Amtrak's big Sunnyside yard.
That's not ours, but that's gonna be the one we're gonna be riding on.
After a short 2-hour layover in New York Penn, we got on Amtrak 2252, a northbound Acela service heading to Boston, Massachusetts. Here's a look at New Haven Yard and a bunch of other things around New Haven Union Station.
Arriving New Haven, all doors should open to the right hand side. Watch the step. New Haven, now arriving. New Haven, step. Okay, so our next station stop on an hour and 20 minutes will be Providence, Rhode Island. Providence, next station stop on an hour and 20 minutes to Providence. All doors open.
I would absolutely recommend giving the Old Acela a ride. These things were amazing, and I would absolutely recommend anybody who can to ride one before Amtrak retires them all in a few years. These things were the start of America High-Speed Rail, and they will always hold a place in my heart and many other rail fans along the Northeast Corridor. Anyways, off the Acela ride now. I stayed at Boston South for about 2 hours and saw one MBTA train with an HSP 46. I would have seen more if it was a lot more hotter that night, but it was very cold that evening. Anyways, we stayed at Boston for 2 hours before taking Amtrak 169 back to New York Penn. We stayed there for about 7 hours until Amtrak 63 departed, and we took an hour and a half ride north to Poughkeepsie, New York, where I saw a buddy of mine, Jake from Mid-Hudson Railfan, and I stayed at Poughkeepsie for about 3 hours to catch a few Metro North and Amtrak trains. Speaking of Metro North, I also got better pictures of Metro North 211, the New York Central Heritage Unit. So here's some pictures now. Also, while at Boston South Station, we saw a bunch of pigeons roaming around in the station. Anyways, off the pigeon situation, let's go to Poughkeepsie, the land of no longer M8s, but P32s from both Amtrak and Metro North. The first train we would see at Poughkeepsie would be Amtrak Empire Service number 236 from Albany to New York City, with a solo P32 leading and a P42 NPCU on the rear end of the train. The next train arriving at Poughkeepsie would be a Metro North train coming from Grand Central. We soon heard about CSX I003 coming up the river line, so we set up our cameras at the other end of the station, next to the Hudson River, to catch CSX I003 across the river, heading north towards Selkirk, New York. After I003 passed, we decided to head back to the station platform, and we caught the 9:59 train departing from Poughkeepsie, heading to Grand Central. The next train to depart would be about half an hour later, as the 10:28 train to Grand Central departed. The next train to arrive would be a Metro North train coming from Grand Central. Metro North would bring in one of their train sets sitting in Poughkeepsie Yard tracks to bring out the 10:59 train heading to Grand Central. They would catch us by surprise as they started moving out of the station heading to Grand Central. The next train to arrive would catch us off guard, as it was Amtrak 280 coming from Niagara Falls heading to New York. Leading the train was a solo P-42 with a P-32 on the rear end of the train. The P-42 will be shut off at Croton Harmon, and the P-32 will power the train the rest of the way into New York. Shortly after 280's counterpart, our train back home, Amtrak 281, would arrive at Poughkeepsie. .281 would be the last train of the day at Poughkeepsie as we got on the train to head back home. However, on the way back home, I heard of M634 with a very interesting lash-up. CSX 1982 leading an SD40 E3, and a bunch of other things in the contest. So here's a video. Now I know it wasn't the best video of the train, but oh well, I guess. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, however, though. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff. Soon I will be having an announcement for this channel. It will be probably on New Year's Eve. Most people, if you're in my Discord server, already know what the announcement is, but I'll be posting some videos on New Year's Eve talking about these, or well, I guess sharing what they will be. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.